Hey, welcome to the latest episode of Wednesday Winners. I've got my good friend, Jody Raynsford. Hey, Jody, how are you?
Hi, James. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Thanks for joining us today. Jody is one of the world's leading copywriters, and he gets absolutely incredible results for people, basically writing and crafting words that sell. Jody's worked with Tony Robbins. He's worked with various other huge people on massive launches. And he's taken people that have sold information products that cost as little as $7 and had launches that have gone on to do millions in sales in a very, very short period of time. So absolutely privileged to have Jody on. Always learning new stuff from this guy. Really, really respected copywriter in the UK market. So thank you for joining us, Jody.
Thank you for that effusive introduction. I very much appreciate it.
No worries. So yeah, Jody and I met a few years ago at one of my events. And do you want to tell us a little bit about more what you do, Jody? Because obviously I'm not the best at explaining what copy is. And I think some people get a bit confused, maybe thinking you're just writing blog posts and news articles and stuff like that, but that's not quite the truth, is it?
Well, actually, the interesting thing about that is that when I first decided to become a copywriter, I felt the same thing. So Previous to becoming a copywriter, I was a journalist and editor for 14 years. And that meant I was working on entertainment, film, and then health and fitness. Yeah. And so, we had weekly deadlines, constantly getting, stories together, human interest, also, the typical stuff that you expect journalists to do. And when I decided to make the transition, as it were, into becoming a copywriter and marketing, I thought, well, this is going to be great. All these, the fact that I've done, my 10,000 hours of writing, I've got this experience interview and all these different elements to it. We're going to stand me in good stead. I know how to engage people. I know how to write in a certain tone of voice. These are great skills. And then I decided that the type of copy that I wanted to do was direct response copy, or sales copy as it's otherwise known. And more recently it's been kind of called conversion copy as well. Different ways of knowing it. But direct response copy is something completely different. In the sense that you're not using all the traditional methods of engagement. That's an important thing, but you're trying to focus on conversion, and that means understanding sales psychology and understanding how to use that psychology in the words that you're writing in order to move people to take action. And that's a very different thing. And so I wanted to learn how to do this. I couldn't find anyone to show me in the UK, so I went to the US. I found a mentor who was a highly successful A-list copywriter. Went on a program to go through that, mentored me through it, and then as a result of that was introduced to a lot of very, very big marketers and started getting results for them. And so there's a real difference between what you would normally consider to be sort of blog writing or content writing generally, compared with what I would call pure copywriting, which is about what words can I say, how can I make you feel that will fundamentally take action and act upon something that I put in front of you. It's effectively salesmanship in print, turning words into money or results or whatever it is that you need to judge those results by.
And it's one of the key elements, right? Because this can make or break a marketing campaign, whether you convert or not. And ultimately that's what you're...
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Fundamentally, that's the thing. There's two elements. Well, there's three elements really. There's, as long as certain other elements are in place, you can, copy has getting the right copy and the right message has the ability to elevate something. So there's two things that if you don't have them already, copy is never going to help with. So if you don't have an audience that wants what you're selling, and you don't have an offer that works, no amount of copy is going to help you do that. Those are two things that you need to sort out first. But most people do have a product that they've at least sold some of. And that's where bringing in a copywriter, a sales copywriter, really makes a difference, because you can, if you know that offer works, you know that audience wants what you're selling, being able to change the messaging to bring more urgency into it, to increase the desire. All of those things can help elevate it to a completely different level. And it's absolutely essential in terms of, that if you don't know how to fundamentally make someone, enter their credit card details and part with their money, you effectively don't have a business. It's like, sales are the lifeblood of anything, and it doesn't matter. You try converting, views on a video or likes on a Facebook page into sales. If you don't fundamentally come down to making a sale, then all of your marketing is pointless.
Yeah, and I've seen you do this with various different businesses. I've seen you do it with people that like build houses, estate agents, coaches, consultants, health and fitness. Like it works for all types of businesses, right? It's not just certain businesses that copy is important for. Is that right?
Yeah. So the best way to think about it is not to think about it in terms of writing. Think about it if you're a business that's reliant upon taking someone who doesn't know the business. Or doesn't know your brand, and take them all, maybe doesn't even understand what their fundamental problem was, and take them all the way through to actually making a sale. If your business needs to do that, regardless of the medium that you use, then you can use copywriting effectively to make that process a lot easier. So a lot of the projects that I've been working on recently is coming into a business or a brand that's doing okay. They're selling things, they're selling a few products, but it's not quite getting the results that they want. And it means looking at everything throughout that entire process, all the way from, say, the Facebook ads that are running to the email follow-up, even sometimes the sales scripts that the salespeople are using, and then the after sales things. What can you change in each of those elements to nudge up conversions, get people, a few more people to act, a few more people to spend a little bit more money? And it's all of those little incremental changes that result in much, much bigger profits at the end of the process. And so it's about understanding that entire journey. So it really is, regardless of the market you're in or the sector you're in, it's about understanding who your audience is and what it is you need to do to take them through to the sale, to build trust, to remove all their objections. If you understand that in the market, you have the ability to improve, increase your profits, make more sales, get more customers, and build your brand.
And it's incredible how little changes can make such a big impact, because we teach people marketing funnels and systems and getting leads and sales online. And I remember about a year ago, you worked on one of our guides or reports that we had. And the page at the time was getting 30% of the people that were visiting were downloading our guide or report, which is incredible. And if you compare that to a normal site, most traffic that goes to a normal website, they might get 1% that make an inquiry or become a lead. So we had it at 30%, which was amazing. But then, and this page that we're talking about is something called a squeeze page. So there's probably less than 100 words on that page. I didn't think much could be done to improve it, but Jody made a few tweaks on it and it went to 60%, which if you look at that, that's ultimately doubling the leads that you've got into your business. And the importance of copy is so big, because you could double your business. You could easily add 20% to your business just by tweaking something and getting more leads. But most people overlook copy, don't they? They don't see it as such an important part that it really is, and it should be one of their priorities on their list in their marketing efforts.
Yeah, I think it's because people consider it to be writing, and most people can kind of write themselves. So a lot of people think, I know my product really well. I can do all the writing, and a lot of people have a bit of a block around writing as well. They feel like it's something that they're either good at or they're not good at. And when they get something down and something written, they're kind of pleased that they've done it. But actually, if you understand that, and a lot of this comes down to testing. So, a simple form of words, the way that you present something, the way you pre-frame someone's experience of something, in a few words, can make a massive difference. And it happens in real life. The thing is, if you think of like sales copy in terms of sales rather than in terms of copy, I would completely buy into this, because that the difference of greeting someone with a smile on their face before a sale is much more likely to pre-frame their experience of you of being positive than someone that sort of like comes in badly dressed, slouching. And it's the same thing with copy. When people read that, it changes, it has the ability to change what you feel and change how you think about something, so that when it comes to you pressing that button or taking that action, you you're in the right frame of mind. And it's something that is becoming more and more important. The biggest brands in the world, Amazon, Google, they're spending huge amounts of money now employing copywriters, because they understand that, because so much is online now, and understanding how to get people from that point of, I don't know who you are, all the way through to I'm going to buy from you, or I'm going to take action, I'm going to do something that means that there's a transaction between us. They understand, and they're putting a lot of effort and time into hiring copywriters who can do that, who are specialists at doing that, moving people from much closer to the sale, even through a few words. I mean, it really does take a few words, but it's like the
price when you literally doubled the leads. I just could not believe it. It was amazing.
No, and that's the thing. But it's kind of like the plumbing analogy. That you get a plumber, you have a problem with your toilet or your boiler or something, and a plumber comes along and charges £100. And they come up for 2 minutes, they change a little washer on it, and you're like, well, why have I paid that amount of money? And it was like, it's £3 for the washer. The rest of the money was for my experience. Yeah. And it's like that. It's if it might only be 3 words on a page, but the fact is, all of that experience has gone into know what 3 words you use on a page, and so it's very difficult to quantify. And I can completely understand why people think, why does that make such a difference? But in the US, with the clients we work with, they see those differences. They know the difference between a 1% and a 2% conversion rate on a sales page that they're driving thousands and thousands of people to. It's the difference between doubling their business. It makes a massive difference to those people. It's just very difficult to quantify when you've never tested it before.
And you do all sorts of different things for people, don't you? So recently you've been helping people with webinars and stuff like that. So how does that work with copy? Because obviously somebody's filming a webinar, they're presenting the webinar. What have you done to help that webinar be more successful?
So again, webinar it's about that entire journey. So when you want to get people to the webinar, essentially the webinar is the same as a sales presentation or something. And so when you are trying to get people to a webinar, you want to have a good show up rate. You want to have a good show up rate. You want to make sure that that you can lose so many people along the way. So say that you're running Facebook ads, so you want as many people to convert from those Facebook ads. Yeah. When they've converted and they've gotten to a registration page, you want as many people to actually go through to a registration. From those registrations, you need as many of those people to turn up as possible. Yeah. And then you need to actually get them onto the webinar at the time that they're supposed to get on. But the important thing about that is that it's not just a case of actually getting the numbers there. It's about what can you make them think about? What objections can you answer that they may have before they ever get on the webinar? And so the important thing about a lot of webinars is that sometimes they're presented by someone who they may not know a lot about, unless you're sort of Tony Robbins or you're a big celebrity with a big brand. Yeah. People are coming onto the webinar because they want something, but they don't necessarily know who the presenter is. And so understanding what can you do with the copy in that process to through email, through Facebook ads, through all the different things they're going to be exposed to. What can you do to answer the objections and change their perception of that person before they ever start speaking to you? And that's really, really important. That's really important because that has a huge effect on what happens during that webinar, whether they make sales. And then once the webinar's finished, it's a case of using post-webinar email sequences and things like Facebook ads retargeting to remind them of why they were on there, what it is that they want to achieve. And then drive more sales through that. So, something like a webinar, you can add up to a third more sales by having an effective post-webinar email sequence in place.
Which is a huge amount, right?
Well, it's a huge amount again. But if you've not run a webinar before and you've not seen the mechanics of it, it's very difficult to picture, that how difficult that is. Because you expect everyone always talks about I got a load of people on a webinar and we made $20,000 in 9 minutes or something like that. But actually, just like it is with a sales process, that follow-up that you can do, which you can completely automate, you can make it sound really authentic if you put it in the right words, that can be running afterwards and still generating sales. And when you just think about that is so powerful. the fact that you're generating sales and it's just from an email sequence. It's incredible. And, and the thing is, the more that you work on improving the conversions on that, the more powerful that webinar is. And then if you automate that webinar, you've got a powerful asset within your business that's constantly going to not just drive leads, that's going to be driving profit in your business. So it's hugely powerful. So something like a webinar is a really, really good way to see copy in action, because that really demonstrates its value to a business.
Yeah, cool, good. How about local businesses? Have you worked with many like local businesses? I've got any examples on those, because we get a few of those coming through and listening to this show. So just thought I don't know if you work with those types of people or not really. We do
work with some local businesses. I think the one thing about local businesses is that they sometimes need to tell their story a lot better. Because there's a whole issue with feeling like you're sort of a same old business. So one of the and we're going to talk about this in a minute, I imagine. But one of the things that I've launched is a program which shows people how to market more disruptively. Yeah. So the issue with a lot of businesses is you start a business and you don't always think about how you're going to market it in the first place. You're not always thinking about how you're going to position yourself in the first place. And it's not until you realize that actually it's a lot harder to bring in leads and sales and everything that you start thinking about these things. Right. And if you try and do the same things that other people are doing, people that are more established, you're not going to get the same results. You may struggle to get results, and you're not going to stand out. And so it's a case of what can we do from a positioning perspective. So there's a couple of elements to copyright, to sales copywriting. It's not just about the words that you write. It's all about how you position a business and the messaging that you use. How do you position yourself within a market so that your target audience sees you as the obvious option in the market? How do you use that to differentiate, and how do you use a USP in order to stand out? And so working with sort of local businesses to do that, that's really powerful. And then showing them how can you intercept the marketing that people are doing already? What can you do to improve the customer journey? What language can you use on things like your Facebook posts or your social media that make you really stand out, really dial into who the customer is? Thinking about the customer rather than about the product is one of the biggest switches you could make as a local business, and about yourself, because the more that this is a general point about local businesses, is that too often it's all about putting offers in front of people without really sort of building empathy, building trust, answering objections, and telling their customer stories. If you do those things, you're going to stand ahead. So it's about building up all the other elements you need in the sales process, than just putting offers in front of people.
Makes sense. So talk about, let's just quickly go over your journey with us, because you're already an established business, and you came along with one of your staff, from what I remember, to one of our preview events, the Internet Marketing Bootcamp. Why did you decide to come to that event on that particular day? So we're a copywriting agency, but we're quickly realizing that there were elements that we were missing in the agency, that people were asking about, what about, it's great that we've got all these elements that are going to help us convert, but what about when it comes to traffic? How are we going to actually drive customers? How do we do things like build an audience? How do we communicate them and, actually get people into a point where they're on a database and we can market to them? Yeah. Once we've got someone on a database, we're great. We know how to do that. But, if people are struggling to get people on a database or to a landing page or to the first page. So this was like a gap in the knowledge that I thought it's about time that we address that. So I brought along a member of staff, and I thought, she'll be able to learn how to do that. But in the process, it sort of highlighted all of the things that I see when I'm working with clients in the US, is the fact that, they have experts who are working on all of these things which are changing all the time. The Facebook algorithms, all the different types of advertising on social media, little tiny things about the use of video in organic traffic. And it just made me realize actually that there was a huge amount missing from our knowledge. And so it made sense to actually sort of invest in you and invest in actually improving our knowledge in that area. And when I started doing that, I saw the value, not just in terms of helping our customers, but in terms of growing the agency and also growing some of the other
products that we were having. So, we've got a sales and marketing academy with Hello Genius Sales and Marketing Academy, which is an educational platform for copywriting and marketing. And I write copy to help other people sell products, but I've never generated traffic or anything else like that for it. So that was an opportunity to do it for that, and also for the disruptive marketing program as well. And the benefit of that was that it then allowed me to start offering products which freed up my time and allowed me to teach more people.
That's a key thing here, not to gloss over that too quickly.
No, absolutely.
So copywriters generally work long hours writing. Like it's not a case of someone says to you, write me a 1-page sales page, and you just do that straight off. You've got lots of research and hours and hours and hours of work to get that and really understand and get in the head of their customer and their business and stuff like that. So that's tiring, right? And you've got
absolutely.
He's got young kids, he's got a young family, and he wanted to make products. And I think from what I remember, when you came on the course, it kind of gave you that kick up the arse to finally get those done, right?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. When you're absolutely right with when it comes to things like sales letters. So some of the sales letters we're writing, between 6,000 and 7,000 words, which you think, well, that must take a long time to do. But if you think that the average sales letter that I write, and I'm quick for a copywriter, will take me around 6 weeks to write.
Right.
And probably of that time, 3 to 4 weeks is research. And actually doing anything before I actually put, I start typing anything, because it's all about understanding the audience, all about that. And so it's hugely involving and it's hugely draining, and you can't take that many on at a time. And so it's not scalable in any way. And it doesn't, like you absolutely say, it doesn't fit in with the kind of lifestyle that you want to lead, especially if you've got a young family as well. Especially, there are hard deadlines. Sometimes you're up late at night doing things. There's changes to be made. You've got all the problems with things like compliance, back and forths. I've been on a Skype call to America from 2 till 6 in the morning, which is a long time to be on a Skype call, going through changes. And so finding, absolutely, it gave me the kick up the arse to think, actually, we need to make a go of some of these products as well, because it can free me from doing that while I still write the copy. And that's really important part of it. It means that I'm not completely reliant on something that isn't as scalable as that.
And so your business is very different now, right? So you've got the copy you're still doing, but less of it. Which show you're being more selective and really working with people that you want to work with, which is important. And the products are giving you a nice income as well that top up your profits and allow you to help more people as well, because you can serve more people with your programs and stuff like that than you could doing the copy for them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost as though it's all kind of fallen into place. We've come up with almost like a product offering, which really works now for the business. So we have the agency that does not just copywriting, but content writing as well. Print writing, branding, all that type of thing. And that's really sort of the done for you type of business. And we've used, some of the techniques you taught us about actually building rapport with your audience using Facebook Lives in order to sort of show what's going on behind the scenes as well, and that's been really important. And then we've got the sort of the done with you thing with the program, and that's important because that's a higher price program. It's not like a 20 or 30 pound course, higher price program, but it takes quite a lot. There's quite a long process in order to get people onto that. And then we've got all the smaller products and stuff, which that's the whole sort of marketing funnel type thing, which I'm very familiar with. But what I learned at your events is how to fill in all those elements of actually building out that funnel, getting the people to that funnel, getting the right people and getting the right quality of lead in order to buy those, and then how to monetize those afterwards in the right way. So it's a combination of all those that's built the business as it is now.
And so you came on the free event, the Internet Marketing Bootcamp. What made you decide from that free preview event that you wanted to invest in the 3 days?
The main thing was, it was very clear that you were going to be able to give a framework with which to work with, which was quite important to me, because I thought, I don't want to completely learn this myself. I want to hand this to someone else. So there was a framework within which to work. The other thing that I was acutely aware of was how, because we go to a lot of marketing conferences, how much things change. And so I didn't want to, I was worried about investing. You can go away and you can buy, what's it called, cheap courses and some very expensive courses on digital marketing, which I'm absolutely sure are out of date. Month by month things change. And so I know that if we would come along to that, it would make a massive difference because we'd be getting the most up-to-date information. And that's valuable for us as a marketing agency as well, because we need to be at the forefront of it as well in the way that we market the business. So that was it. And the other thing, which I constantly come back to, is the fact that I don't know anyone else that puts as much money behind what they do as you do. There's a lot of people teaching a lot of things. And there's, it's the same thing in our area. There's a lot of people purporting to be great copywriters, but how many have actually had controls or done bestsellers? It's the same thing.
It's frustrating. Like, I'm sure you get as frustrated as I do. There's people that are training people on marketing that don't even do any marketing themselves.
Yeah.
Just rock up at these big events and sell courses, and you look on their Facebook. When was the last time they did a Facebook Live? Are they running any Facebook ads? Are they even active on YouTube? And you're just like, what the hell's going on? How
no, exactly.
Something to someone that you're not doing. It's just very frustrating.
No, exactly. And that's it. And it's a case of understanding that, if you are, I think you always say this at your events, you're in this room because of the marketing that I've done. So it's almost like the proof is in the pudding. I understand how hard it is, like, to get someone to buy something that you have the kind of overwhelming proof that you need that something works.
Yeah.
And I think it was really clear at that point that that not only did you have that framework that would allow us to do that, to gain that knowledge, but you also have the I was aware of it before, but this just really cemented why actually putting the money behind what you were doing, and the fact that you admittedly say you've lost a hell of a lot of money as well in order to get things right. But
yeah, totally.
I always like coming from the point of someone who's a practitioner rather than a theorist, and I think that really sums up what you get when you run the program. And I think everything that we did as a result of going on the workshop demonstrated that it was grounded in practical application rather than just theory.
And I think for you, you made your money back before you even left the room, just with the community, right? Because I know you've got friends from, like, our tribe that you're keeping in touch with and working with and helping with the business. So, I mean, how important was the community part? I think you probably didn't realise that was going to be there till you came on the course. I know we talk about it, but it's hard to imagine until you're there, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's the thing. Yeah, I mean, it's sort of, people always tout these things as like good networking opportunities, but actually there was there's some great people in the room, and I think a lot of people have the same that kind of frustration that they've got a really good product, they've got a really good business, but something's just not working in them. And I think there are two things that you can change in that. If you've got those two things, understanding one, fixing the traffic, the marketing problem, actually how do you get people looking at your products, and then understanding how to then once you build that audience, how do you monetize that audience, how do you convert it? And so those two things go together. And I wasn't maybe I should have been more sales aware when I came on the thing as well, because I was surprised.
Well, we don't want everyone going around pitching stuff, but
no, exactly. But it was
handing out flyers and all this kind of stuff.
I know that's next time. Next time. But it's the combination of those two things, and I think it fits in really, really well with where we come from, and it's the part that's missing, that was missing from the business, which is understandable. That's we developed as a copy agency. And now we understand all parts of that funnel, which is, I think, is just so important in terms of understanding that's the kind of direction marketing's going in. Is you're not going to have those small parts that, especially relying on one or two specific channels, especially as the landscape changes.
Yeah, totally. It's ever evolving, and that's why anyone that enrolls on the Business Accelerator, they get access to a members area, which I know your team look at as well, and they can see the latest recording of our 3-day program. So right now, as of recording this, Facebook ads and YouTube are very, very decent places to get leads and sales for pretty much any business. But who knows, like in 2 years, they might not be. So that content is always updated, because we want to make sure that what's working today, the day that people enroll, and the day that people come on the program, they're getting the latest information, not what worked 6 months ago or a year ago. Because people are teaching Facebook ads that the strategies will actually get you banned by Facebook. I've seen one guy doing that, teaching people strategies that would actually get you banned, shut down, and then creating another course on how to get unbanned on Facebook.
That's brilliant. that's a smart.
Well,
but
yeah,
the thing is, that's the thing.
Getting the double sell, right? It's getting the double sell, but it would be very frustrating to do that. So, I mean, what would you suggest to anyone that's thinking about starting step one, which is coming to the Internet Marketing Bootcamp?
So I think Internet Marketing Bootcamp's a great place to start. To be fair, I think you give more information in your presentations than some of the paid courses. And I've been through a lot of the paid courses and reviewed a lot of the paid courses as well. I think you get a lot of information there, and that gives you a really good overview. It's clear at that point whether that is the kind of thing for you. If you do want more leads and more sales in your business, maybe, and sometimes maybe your business doesn't need that, but at least it gives you a clear idea that actually what difference can this make. And I think the other thing that to take into account is that you can do research on Google for as long as you want, and you can listen to all these different voices and stuff, but actually getting into a room for some reason, like taking time out of your business to focus on that makes a massive thing, because you just getting in a room and actually thinking about it and looking at the opportunity. It's when you sort of lift it's that typical business owner thing. You finally lift your head up and you think, actually, this is how big my business could be. Imagine if I could just do this, what is a very, very simple thing, and get 100 leads into my business this week. What difference would it make? And I think it's not just what you teach, it's also that ability to go into a space whereby you're actually focusing on growing your business.
And finally, being somewhere where you belong, right, with other entrepreneurs and business owners that are doing stuff. Because this isn't one of these networking meetings where you're with loads of broke business owners, right? When you join the Business Accelerator, you're with people that are really moving forwards, hence the name Accelerator. And those are the people you want to hang around with, right? Because we say you're going to be like the 5 people that you hang around with. So why hang around with people that are trying to get everything done for free, not getting results, and ultimately not getting a successful business? You want to be nearer to the ones that are doing 6 figures, 7 figures, and we've got people doing 8 figures as well now. So that's really important. So I'll put a link around this video. So anyone that wants to come along to an Internet Marketing Bootcamp, we would love to have you and serve you and teach you some more. Jody, how can people get in touch with you? And I know you've got some incredible offer that you want to give to people as well. Well, not an offer, you want to give them something for free. So tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, so one of the things I did very early on was I decided to write a book, and actually it was through you that I helped to market the book as well and actually use it. So one of the good things, actually, it goes back to thinking about the Internet Marketing Bootcamp, is that if you have assets within your business, or you've created videos or created books or reports or anything else like that, and you just don't know what to do, it's like, what is the missing piece? And this kind of it. And it's the same thing. So my book is the engagement formula. And I basically wrote that to help business owners and people who have brands that they're struggling to communicate. What is it that they need to do? And I basically take the lessons that I had from when I was a journalist to understand how do you engage someone, how do you grab their attention, how do you hold that attention long enough for them to be a customer. And so I'd love to be able to give away 50 of those books to your listeners. Awesome. So if you go to www.theengagementformula.com, the offer will be on there, and just grab one of those and have a read of the book. It's helped lots of people. Really it's sort of.
Me. I've read the book. It's awesome. So
it's not a big read. It's not a long read as well. I think it's sort of the perfect kind of length. It's not going to be going into lots of theory. It's just thinking about how do you use your story? How do you use the stories around you? How do you use sort of everyday things that happen in order to start writing copy, in order to start phrasing things in a way that's going to make your customer listen to you and actually, keep reading, which getting someone to read in the first place is hard. Getting them to stay reading is even harder. So,
awesome. We're going to theengagementformula.com.
Theengagementformula.com. I don't think you can spell that wrong, can you?
No, I'll put a link below this video as well, or above it. It'll be around this, so wherever you're watching this video, have a look for that. So it's theengagementformula.com. If you're listening to it on a podcast, then obviously find it theengagementformula.com. So Jody's given away 50 of those, so don't dilly-dally on that. Get yourself that book. It is a really, really, really good read. So anything else you want to add, Jody?
I just think the one thing I want to add is if people are really serious about making a difference in their business in terms of growing it, I absolutely think they should come along to the Internet Marketing Bootcamp in order to do that, or come along to one of your live events, because the other thing that we haven't mentioned, actually, because I touched on it slightly in terms of the live Facebook live videos, is the fact that you're getting a time away from your business, you're getting the education, but the one thing that I think that differentiates you from everyone else is that you do genuinely care whether someone's business works or not, and you're almost coaching people to a point of doing things. You've got people to take action there and then, which has had a direct impact on growing their business.
We have a guy coming up on a Wednesday Winners very, very soon that is now in his niche the biggest expert in the whole of the world, with 5,000 people in a Facebook group. So yeah, I'm gonna.
And it was, and it's that, and it's
anything like that. But I'm gonna. That's a future episode. So make sure you do subscribe and listen out for that.
Yeah, but I do think that there is that element to it as well, that some of this, for a lot of people, marketing, they're going to be doing their marketing for the first time. They're doing Facebook Lives, they're going to be writing stuff, they're going to be testing things live. And it's very, very difficult to do that alone. Really hard to do that alone. It's much better when you're with a group of people and you have someone who's been there and done it and does it all the time. They're coaching you through it, even if that means telling you to stop being pathetic and get on with it, or that's a case of put your arm around you going, look, you're really good, it's fine. That is a really, really key part of it. And if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't have done as many Facebook Lives that I've done. I probably wouldn't have put out as much content that I've put out, and I certainly wouldn't have got as much business as a result of those.
Cool, thanks, man. And it's done with love, but sometimes you just need a kick.
It doesn't feel like it sometimes when you. I mean, I'm sure. But that's the thing, isn't it? You sometimes people just need to be pushed, and it's important it's done from a perspective of genuinely trying to help them, and that's what comes across.
And I remember now from when you actually came on the Business Accelerator, there was a guy sitting near you that some of the stuff we teach is common sense, some of them will be totally new to you, but it's not always common practice. And he had an email list, and the simple question was for him, when did he last email his database? And you kind of helped me a little bit to push him to send an email and get.
I think did we write it? We wrote it for him.
Jody kindly actually wrote it for him. I twisted Jody's arm and said, look, could you just quickly write this guy an email and ask the guy, if you get one of the best copywriters in the world to write you an email, will you send it to your bloody list? And he was still hesitant. And he needed to be pushed over the edge. We did that, and he got a sale that same day.
I think within the hour.
Yeah, it was within an hour. It was insane, right? And he hadn't emailed his list for ages. So sometimes you just need a fresh set of eyes to look at the assets that you've got in your business, and we'll work out what can we do with those assets and get those ultimately working for your business. So Jody, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me on.
Really appreciate it. Remember, it's the engagementformula.com. If you want to come to one of our events, it's the Internet Marketing Bootcamp. Both of those, I will have a link. You get the book for free. You get your ticket as well for free to the event. So thank you for watching, everyone. Make sure you subscribe to this page or like the page, whichever social network you're watching on. Thank you for now. Bye, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for watching the video. Now, the next 2 steps are really important. The first thing is that I want to get you a free copy of my book. So if you click on the video up here, you'll be able to grab yourself a free copy of the book and we'll ship that to you in the next few days. The next step is to get yourself a complimentary ticket to one of our internet marketing boot camps, because that's where we can really get to know you. My team will be there. We'll be spending intimate time with you and your business and working out a blueprint for you to get more leads and more sales. So if you click on the video over here, you'll be able to get a free ticket to the Internet Marketing Bootcamp. And while you're there, if you haven't done it already, subscribe to this page, because we've got incredible videos and incredible value coming out all the time on this channel, and I want to serve you to help you grow your business to be more successful.